Xyloth pressed his 3 fingers against the datapad and watched the holographic display flicker to life. The senior analyst had spent 40 cycles studying the economic behaviors of various species across the galaxy. He had seen the logical trade patterns of the Velthari, the resource-hoarding tendencies of the Krix, and the minimalist consumption habits of the Orvani. Nothing had prepared him for what he was about to witness. The Trade Federation Council had assigned his department a new task. They wanted a complete analysis of human commercial practices. The Federation was considering opening full trade relations with Earth, and they needed to understand how human markets functioned. Xyloth accepted the assignment with confidence. After all, economics followed universal laws. Supply met demand. Resources fulfilled needs. Value was determined by utility. 3 days into his research, Xyloth called an emergency meeting with his team. "I need verification," he said to the 12 analysts gathered in the circular chamber. "My translation software may be corrupted. Please examine these recordings from human broadcast networks." He activated the central projector. A human female appeared on screen, holding a small glass bottle. She sprayed liquid onto her neck while walking through a garden filled with flowers. The image shifted to show her surrounded by other humans who seemed drawn to her presence. Music played in the background. Words appeared on screen describing the product as something that would unlock hidden desires. "This is a chemical compound," Xyloth explained. "It has no nutritional value. It provides no protection from environmental hazards. It does not enhance physical capabilities. It serves no purpose except to produce a pleasant smell that fades within hours." Senior Analyst Myrix leaned forward. "What is the price point?" "The equivalent of 30 standard labor units for a container that would last approximately 2 months. Silence fell across the room. 30 labor units could feed a Velthari family for half a cycle. It could purchase medical supplies for an entire Krix settlement. The idea of spending such resources on temporary pleasant smells seemed impossible. "Perhaps this is an isolated product category," suggested Junior Analyst Threx. "A small market anomaly." Xyloth switched to another recording. This one showed a human male driving a ground vehicle through empty streets at high speed. The vehicle was sleek and powerful. It made aggressive sounds as it moved. The advertisement suggested that owning this machine would bring freedom and excitement. "This vehicle costs 300,000 human currency units," Xyloth said. "For comparison, a vehicle with identical transportation capability costs 1/10 of that amount. The expensive version travels at the same maximum legal speed. It carries the same number of passengers. It consumes more fuel and requires more maintenance. Then why would any rational being purchase it?" asked Myrix. "That is what we must determine." The analysts spent the next several days cataloging human advertisements. They found products designed to make humans smell like other humans. They found clothing items that cost more simply because a specific symbol was attached to them. They discovered water that was placed in fancy containers and sold for 20 times the price of identical water in plain containers. One advertisement particularly disturbed Junior Analyst Kavra. It showed a small rock attached to a metal band. Humans placed these rocks on their fingers to indicate romantic partnership. The rocks served no function. They were too small to use as tools. They did not store data or generate energy. They simply reflected light in patterns that humans found pleasing. "The average human spends 3 months of wages on these decorative rocks," Kavra reported. "Their culture has determined that the size and clarity of the rock represents the depth of emotional commitment between partners. But the rock does not create or measure emotional commitment," Xyloth said. "It is simply compressed carbon." "Correct. Yet humans believe that their relationships are somehow validated by the presence of this rock." The team moved on to study human food advertising. They found products that claimed to taste like other products while containing completely different ingredients. They found beverages with no nutritional value that humans consumed in massive quantities. They found restaurants that charged premium prices for smaller portions served on white plates in quiet rooms. The food at these expensive establishments is not significantly better for human health, reported Analysts. In many cases, the less expensive food is actually more nutritious. Yet humans will wait months for reservations and spend entire weeks of wages on a single meal. Xyloth began to develop a theory. He called it the perception value hypothesis. Human products were not sold based on their actual utility. They were sold based on the feelings they created in the minds of consumers. The advertisements did not explain what products did. They showed what humans could become by owning them. The perfume did not sell pleasant smells. It sold attractiveness and desirability. The expensive vehicle did not sell transportation. It sold status and power. The decorative rock did not sell jewelry. It sold love and commitment. They have weaponized psychology, Xyloth concluded in his preliminary report. Human merchants do not simply offer goods for sale. They create emotional needs that did not exist before. Then, they position their products as the only solution to those needs. The Trade Federation Council requested more information. They were concerned about the implications. If humans could convince their own species to purchase useless items, what might they do to alien customers? Xyloth's team began studying the techniques used in human advertising. They discovered entire industries dedicated to understanding human thoughts and emotions. These industries conducted experiments to determine which colors triggered purchasing behavior. They tested which words created feelings of urgency. They measured the exact amount of time needed for a human brain to form positive associations with a product. They call it marketing, Xyloth explained to the council. It is a science of manipulation. They know exactly how their brains work, and they use that knowledge to bypass rational decision-making. Council leader Ornax considered this information. Are humans aware that this is happening to them? Yes, they openly discuss it. They teach it in their educational institutions. They celebrate the most effective practitioners as creative geniuses. They know they are being manipulated, yet they allow it to continue. They do not merely allow it, they enjoy it. Human consumers actively seek out well-crafted advertisements. They share them with each other. They feel disappointed when the manipulation is not sophisticated enough. The council members exchanged worried glances. Every species in the Trade Federation operated on the assumption that buyers sought maximum value for their resources. The Velthari would never purchase something without utility. The Krix would laugh at the idea of paying extra for decorative symbols. The Orvani found the entire concept of unnecessary consumption morally offensive. But humans were different. They had built their entire economy around the creation and satisfaction of artificial desires. Their merchants did not compete to offer better products. They competed to create better stories about their products. Junior analyst Kavra presented her findings on human brand loyalty. She showed examples of humans who refused to purchase superior products because they felt emotional connection to inferior ones. She documented humans who defined their personal identities through the products they consumed. She found humans who engaged in aggressive conflicts with other humans who preferred competing products. The product becomes part of who they are, Kavra explained. Attacking the product feels like attacking the person. Humans will defend their purchasing choices with the same intensity they defend their families. Xyloth added additional concerning data. Human advertising has evolved beyond simple product promotion. They now sell concepts. They sell lifestyles. They sell versions of reality that humans wish existed. He showed advertisements for retirement plans that promised endless beach vacations. He showed insurance companies that claimed to sell peace of mind. He showed technology products that promised human connection while actually encouraging isolation. They are not selling products anymore, Xyloth said. They are selling dreams. The final section of the report dealt with the effectiveness of human advertising across species boundaries. Xyloth had conducted small-scale experiments with voluntary alien participants. He showed them human advertisements and measured their responses. The results were alarming. 70% of Veltari test subjects reported increased interest in products after viewing human advertisements, even when they understood the products had no utility for their species. 63% of Crick subjects experienced what they described as desire for items they previously had no interest in owning. Even 40% of Orvani subjects, known throughout the galaxy for their resistance to material consumption, reported strange urges to purchase human products. Human advertising works on non-human minds, Xyloth concluded. Their manipulation techniques target fundamental psychological structures that exist across most intelligent species. We are all vulnerable. The Trade Federation Council took 3 days to discuss the implications. They considered banning all human advertising within Federation space. They considered requiring warning labels on human commercial content. They considered establishing special training programs to help Federation citizens resist human manipulation techniques. In the end, they took a different approach. Council leader Ornax addressed the Federation in a historic broadcast. The humans have developed a weapon more powerful than any fleet. They have learned to create desire from nothing. They have mastered the art of making the unnecessary feel essential. We cannot stop this. We cannot hide from it. We can only learn from it. The Federation established the Institute for Human Commercial Studies. They invited human advertising professionals to teach their techniques. They began developing their own campaigns based on human principles. Within 5 cycles, Federation markets had transformed. The Veltari began selling emotional experiences alongside their practical goods. The Cricks learned to attach stories to their resources. Even the Orvani discovered that their minimalist philosophy could be packaged and sold as a desirable lifestyle. Trade across the galaxy increased by 300%. Species that had never shown interest in commerce suddenly developed consumer cultures. Products that had never found buyers were rebranded and sold out within days. Xyloth watched it all happen from his office at the Institute. He had been promoted to Director of Alien Consumer Psychology. His job was now teaching others how to do what humans had always done naturally. Sometimes he wondered if he had made a terrible mistake. He had revealed human capabilities to the galaxy. He had helped spread their manipulation techniques to every corner of known space. He had changed the fundamental nature of Federation commerce forever. But then he looked at the decorative rock on his desk. He had purchased it after completing his original report. It served no function. It had no utility. It simply sat there, reflecting light in patterns that he found increasingly pleasing. He no longer questioned why he had bought it. He no longer cared that it was useless. He only knew that it made him feel something that logical analysis never could. The humans had taught the galaxy a terrible truth. Beings did not buy products because they needed them. They bought products because wanting them felt good. And feeling good was the most powerful currency in the universe. Xyloth smiled at his rock and returned to his work. There were billions of consumers across the galaxy, and each one of them had desires they did not know existed yet. His job was to create those desires and then sell them the solutions. He had learned well from the humans. Perhaps too well.